Over its three-day slot at Excel London, early reports indicate that Ecobuild attracted more than 50,000 visitors. That's more than 10,000 more than last year, despite the fact that it had moved from the popular Earl's Court location to the more, some would say, isolated spot in the Docklands. Furthermore, Ecobuild's success came in the same week that EMAP pulled the plug on its increasingly confused collection of shows that made up Interbuild, including Glassex and Best. Walking around Ecobuild and talking to exhibitors, those who could afford me the time at any rate, two distinct themes surfaced. Ecobuild is now the UK's premier construction show, and just how central is the environmental theme? I started to wonder if the two were more closely linked. Simon Bucock, Managing Director of CR Lawrence, explained how the company's range of granite work surfaces in particular were generating a lot of interest from visitors, yet interest in the green credentials was minimal.
Very few. There have been a few people who've mentioned it, but to be honest, most people tend to focus on the actual product itself and how they can use it in their project that they have, so a lot of people here are either looking just generally or they have a project that they're working on at the moment, so they're more interested in its performance as a product than anything.
I then asked him if Ecobuild's organisers asked him about the product sustainability when the company applied to exhibit.
When we went about booking this stand, I think we basically filled in a standard application form for the space, and I don't recall us having to do anything in particular other than that, really just requesting the space that we wanted, and I think that's the way we went about it.
David Wrigley, Managing Director of Epping Group Extruded Products, argued that sustainability doesn't stand up on its own, partly because the market won't support a plethora of shows in the UK.
I think it originally started off with a very strong green message, and there were quite a lot of fringe products at the original exhibitions we went to. One of the things we found, though, that coming on just putting forward a sustainable eco message didn't quite fit the bill. There needed to be an economic reason behind it, such that people were thinking they got value from it, not just a sustainability credential. And I think that's why we're seeing the exhibition growing to where it is, because people are thinking not just about can we tick a green box, but how does it actually build a house, how can you make a home more viable, more sustainable, more energy efficient and more comfortable to live in.
However, Chris Coxon, Eurocell's marketing manager, said that the exhibition's green message was still important, as well as getting the company in front of its customers.
I think for Eurocell it's very important because obviously environmentally we've got the post-consumer recycling message to get out to the marketplace, but ultimately it's a mix of both. We need to reach specifiers to get our products specified, and that helps our customers, so for us it's got a joint benefit. It's the top show, it's the only show that we're going to this year.
One had to ask whether visitors were interested in sustainability for sustainability's sake, or whether it provided just another business opportunity. Trade associations were also revelling in the glow of Ecobuild. The Council for Aluminium in Buildings chief executive, Justin Radcliffe, argued that the show was good for cabs branding.
We have a situation now where you've got a show that's grown into the world's largest sustainable exhibition, and it's grown in importance. I think what you've also seen is you've seen a situation where companies who would have not looked at the show a few years ago and saw it as purely perhaps a timber show now see it as a multi-material show, and I think that's the big change, and CAB has been a big catalyst in bringing aluminium companies and aluminium in building supply chain companies into the show. I think there's always a danger that with the growth of a show that perhaps the initial values of a show can be diminished, but I think if you look around at the central features and exhibits, you'll see that the ecological benefits of various materials are still very key parts of the show. I think another very important thing, Nathan, is that if you look how busy the seminar program, I went to a few of the BRE seminars this morning, you look how busy they are. The architects, the specifiers, the main contractors are queuing up for theirs, because you literally do have some of the greatest and best seminars on material sustainability around.
Sean Parnaby, the chair of the Wood Window Alliance, said that working as a team was successful when promoting the environmental benefits of timber.
Well, the Wood Window Alliance has come together, which is a group of timber window manufacturers and suppliers, and on this stand we collectively work together to get the message across about timber windows, and instead of trying to sell our own individual brand, we're actually turning around and selling each other's. It's quite interesting to see that people are grasping the understanding of sustainability, understanding that all our members are FSC. It's quite interesting to see that they always ask, oh, what timber is it and where did that timber actually come from?
Ecobuild has suddenly become quite mainstream. No longer is building houses, building properties with the environment in mind. No, that's no longer niche. Today, having something that is green is run central to what building programme is about. And at Ecobuild, you get the feeling that Ecobuild itself is just a tag, it's a marketing ploy to get people through the door. Because once you're here, you're essentially at another building show. However, what you do get are visitors. You get them by the absolute bucket load. This morning, when I arrived, people were clamouring to get in through the door. And once you're here, you get a real mixture of people. It's really quite a fabulous event. And you're kind of wondering, well, does it really matter if something's Ecobuild or not? Because at the end of the day, this is a great flag-waving exercise for the building industry.